Whoa. Alright, after The Rock had laid down his stipulation, which we all sort of know that Cody gonna sell because he's a man of the people. He's the new people's champ, as a couple of them signs said. Now, way too early, but I was like, what does this mean for the whole thing? Now, this sets up so many different things. This sets up Drew, this sets up Seth, this sets up Cody from Roman, everybody. It plays into everything. And, I was like for instance, I was like, he had a segment on SmackDown, but he had a little promo that he also did early in the day where he also talked about basically involving Seth that, hey, I said, I'm at the top of the board. I can make sure that you basically don't have that title no more kind of thing. Which sounds like, hey, the blood, like you keep on playing around, I'm gonna make sure that the bloodline interfere in your match. And as we sort of been seeing with Drew, he's been taking advantage of things. He's also taking advantage of the bloodline. So, while he's also been the one to criticize it. Now, if you would have asked me before the stipulation, I could have seen something where McIntyre, and I can still sort of see it, whether McIntyre win or lose, which we think he wins. I was like, I can still somehow see McIntyre helping out against the bloodline. And this sort of goes in of, what do you do first? Do you do McIntyre and Seth day one, that earlier that day, before you do Cody and Seth in the tag match? Because that way you can say Seth he's already hurt, he wasn't 100%. That's why Roman and Rock was able to get the victory. Because I think they're winning. I think they're winning, to me, regardless. It's just a matter of the order you do it. Because I was like, or do you have Cody and Seth when they lose? Now Seth has to go in day two, hurt and all this other stuff, and he loses. And then try to help Cody in the bloodline, rules kind of thing. And then, that also plays into of also, hey, regardless, like I said, the bloodline, I was like Rock and Roman gonna win, and I think so. Kind of like, it doesn't make sense to me that Seth and Cody would win, and then going into night two. Cause to me, if they win the tag team match, I'm going to assume that Cody might lose that match against Roman. If it just, I was like, but I was like, that's also why I don't think they can, just because I'm like, him straight up with Roman. While yes, that's a match that I feel like we will see just as much. I was like, it's not as compelling, but it was settled once and for all that it's like, when it's just me and you, I can beat you. But the better story is, last year I about beat you for the interferences. This year, with the interferences, I still beat you. Meaning I can no doubtably say better than you now. Because it's like, I beat you with interferences. What does that even, like, that's a step above to me than just a respectable one-on-one kind of match. But also I think it gives extra too, that I was like, even if they lose, Seth will still try to have it back. But that's why I'm saying that if Seth has him on McIntyre on night one, he can sort of go into night two having Seth back still. Or does that create a situation where after they lose, he doesn't have Seth back? And like I said, this is early, so maybe there's something else to where Cody can't have any help. Maybe there's something like that. Or Seth is not allowed to interfere, which is more of a specific detail. And this is also where I was thinking of, like, Drew beats Seth, even with bloodline interference. But he's on the words that Seth said of, like, if we don't take them down, they still are going to run roughshod on everybody. And therefore, in the match, while the bloodline's interfering, say it's all three of them interfering against Cody, Seth comes out, but Seth's not enough. He's done been worn down. but who was to make the save? I was like, I think you're going to get Jay somewhere in there, because I was like, if they, especially if they do the Jay Jimmy match, but even if they don't, I could see it, just because I was like, Jay is buzzed with all of them. He doesn't like Jimmy. He doesn't like Roman. It's really weird that they also aren't using him at all in this bloodline stuff, and it's like I'm like, he's still involved. Anyway, but also I could see that even like just when, and I was like, to me, I was like, just when you think that, hey, Cody's down, they don't. I was like, the bloodline is down, like everybody's down except for like Roman or something, or maybe The Rock or something like that. But say it's Roman and he's just waiting for Cody. He just waiting for Cody. Cody been getting beat up all night. His teammates have been getting beat up. Everybody beat up, but Roman's able to. He's up. He's ready to go. The Rock just like gave him a rock bottom or something. I don't know. And Roman's right there. And at the last minute, Claymore by Drew. That's just like, oh my God, did he just do this? And it's like, he's not a good guy. He's not a heel. He just did it for the betterment of the whole thing. I was like, that could be a topping of the whole, of like all of it, where everybody gets basically intertwined in this whole thing. Yeah, I was like, then that's why I'm thinking, I'm like, would it benefit to do something like that? Just because I'm like, even if, because I'm like, Cody and Seth isn't enough to take on the bloodline. Let's be realistic. I was like, Seth is going to always come out there and try and help him, regardless how hurt he is. Whether he has the match on night 1 or night 2, he's going to try to probably help. Unless it's something crazy of like him either being heelish, or like him just being like so like down in the dumps after losing. It's time like he doesn't even. He's like I'm out. I can't or something like that. Like he's reneging or something. I was like, but I was like, I just don't see that for his character at this moment. But so that's what I'm saying. You're going to have to need something extra, and maybe in these coming weeks, Jay will somehow get involved, just because it doesn't make sense. I get the whole thing with him and Jimmy, but it doesn't make sense that he's not somewhere involved in it, and it's really crazy to me that he's not, when just 6 months ago he was like this in there. But yeah, I was like, I would love to see that Drew does it, because it's like, he's like, this is my time. I'm taking out everybody. So he's like, it's not just Punk, who might have something to do with that 3, like with the Seth and McIntyre match. But if he just basically just like, I'm going to be the top, I'm gonna take out the bloodline, and then his story can basically be, I'm the one who took out the bloodline, or Cody, you couldn't have done it without me, or whatever. I was like, I gotta get my McIntyre voice good on there. But anyway, these are just thoughts. These are just options. Like a way early case of what can play out from just alone this Friday's Rock segments, 2 separate segments of stuff, and how WrestleMania could play out just from right here, just from right now. Yeah, because I think the best scenario is probably Seth and McIntyre day 1, just because I like unless you somehow just like gave the women all like their stuff on day 1, because I was like, they're not going to get a night 1. But I can't imagine. I can't imagine the lineups really right now, just because I'm like, Seth and Drew going to have to be like beginning of the show for them to close out that night. But I can see them. But I was like, that way it could settle. But I could see them just having a night 1 match, and then everybody pulling double duty, except for, of course, McIntyre. But I was like, they're pulling double duty basically on night 2 kind of thing. And that way it's like he ain't recovered or whatever like that. But either way, I was like, I don't think you could go wrong. I don't think you could go wrong. Either way, you could play into Seth being tired. I was like, I just think it's either him being tired in that one night than to be tired, basic, like getting a little bit of rest and then come back like first thing for the first match. I would have liked it. I'm not gonna lie, if the tag team match would have been the start of day 2. That way you can have a regular card of night 1 or whatever, and night 2 you open with the tag team match. Because they're already doing sort of double duty anyway. They're already doing back-to-back nights, so I'm like, and I was like, I get it. Like, that would be tiring to go in and do a whole another match, because that's going to be a big, huge primetime spot. To do that 2 times in one day, basically. But if it was like more so possible that I would like that Cody and Seth start out the WrestleMania 2, and then that's a lot more angst going into it. But it doesn't matter either way. It's fine. This is just me doing some 2K fantasy booking. But no, I was like, but the whole storyline, that's how I think it is. I think Cody and Seth has to lose the tag match. They have to lose it, setting up the bloodline rules. But it'd be poetic in a way if they help Drew win the title, and Drew screws them over in the end as like a payback from what happened many moons ago. Anyway, what do you think of my scenarios here? How do you see it playing out? What would you like to play out? How would you like for it to be matched up? Do you think that Jay will get involved in some type of way in all this? Or Drew will get involved in any type of way on this? Is there anybody that we're missing that might also get thrown into this as well? Just because I was like, because there could be a Sammy or KO, them revisiting some stuff. I was like, there's so many people that the Bloodline didn't mess with that you could have them entertain this in some type of way that it's like, because there's going to be 4 of them on the Bloodline side versus Cody and Seth and 2 others. So I was like, and also, do you think Cody comes out of the match? Because the reason I was like, cause I still don't know. I don't know. I'm leaning towards he will, but it still is up in the air at this moment. But anyway, let me know what you think. Until then, I'm out.